All right, guys, I'd like to welcome you to the Entrepreneurship Educators Association Speaker Series. I'm delighted to have a friend of mine, Brandon Miles. Brandon is an outstanding, not just business educator, but entrepreneurship educator from the Janesville School District. Brandon, thanks for joining us. If you're not familiar with the Entrepreneurship Educators Association, we are the world's only high school entrepreneurship association. So we provide all sorts of great free teaching resources, videos like this with helpful content to help your students, free downloads, assignments. We have all sorts of polls that we'll do. We've got a pitch competition, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. So we have amazing resources. Everything's free. We're just here to help create a better experience for teachers and help teach, create future innovators and entrepreneurs. So with that, I'd just like to talk briefly about Planet Pitch. So Planet Pitch is a brand new social entrepreneurship pitch competition. If you're not familiar with social entrepreneurship is really a movement that entails entrepreneurs not just launching businesses for the sake of profits, but for people, planet, and profit. So it's all about making the world a better place. And yes, with social enterprises, generating a profit as well. So we're launching Planet Pitch. You can, as you can see, the website address is planetpitch.co. And you can go to that website and students can learn about social entrepreneurship, but they can also apply for the Planet Pitch competition. It's international and it's virtual. Everybody's eligible. We include all sorts of videos to help you prepare your students, and the students can compete with their pitch and win college scholarships and prizes. So check that out at planetpitch.co. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guest, Brandon Miles from the Janesville School District. Brandon, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me, Dave. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right. So first of all, let's always like to get to know our guests. So tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I am in my 7th year as a business education teacher at Joseph A. Craig High School in Janesville, Wisconsin. Had a little bit of a non-traditional path getting there. I was a business, finance, and economics person and worked in high finance in St. Louis, Missouri for several years before moving back closer to home with my wife and deciding I wanted to help high schoolers learn the financial concepts that I wish that I knew at their age. So that took me to Craig, and it's been a really enjoyable, fulfilling experience so far.
So tell us, you tend to be a modest guy. Tell us a little bit about we're going to talk about 2 aspects of the classes you teach, but we're going to focus on Elevate and entrepreneurship. But tell us a little bit about the personal finance class that you've developed and the guests, shall we say, that you've had from overseas, because this is pretty impressive.
Yeah, so we've had lots of students with an interest in personal finance, and they love learning how they should manage their money because they see the relevance in it. And if you want students to learn your content and you can show them the relevance, you're going to get a much bigger buy-in from them. So we created another course called Finance and Investing that went a little bit more in depth, and we've had lots of guest speakers over the years, everybody from when we talk about different concepts, we have people virtually sign in from places like England. We have local community members come in and join us as well. So the kids get to learn from more than just their instructor. And when those people are reiterating the things that they're learning in class, I think the message sinks in even stronger for them. So yeah, really fun opportunity. I'm thankful to the School District of Janesville for allowing our students the opportunity to have personal finance classes, because when I graduated from high school, finance wasn't something that the schools taught. It was something your family taught you.
Right. Okay, great. Well, let's dive into Elevate. I've done a lot of research over the last few years on entrepreneurship programs at the high level. Obviously, we're going to have some people watching that are just one-person operations and they're teaching entrepreneurship. Other schools that are, much larger. And there's a few schools in the country that I've dug into that have really impressive entrepreneurship programs. And yours has kind of an interesting hybrid approach. So tell us a little bit about what Elevate is.
So Elevate is a business immersion capstone class for students. We have an 8-hour day at my school. So the students typically have 8 classes, and they're with us in Elevate for 3 of those 8 hours. And when we think about Elevate, you really think about it in 3 main parts. It's a full year. The students have their traditional classroom classes. So our business classes, they have entrepreneurship, finance and investing, international business.
This is within the context of Elevate, correct?
Correct. Yep. And then they have 2 English classes, written communication, oral communication, and then they have economics. So they get some English credit and half a social studies credit as well. And so those classes are offered to all students at Craig High School, outside of Elevate's program as well. The unique part of Elevate then is the other 2 segments. And one of them is a mentorship experience. So we find out from the students what they're planning on doing, what careers they're interested in. And then we utilize our personal networks and networks around the area to find them a mentor in that field. And the mentor has a curriculum. We do a meet and greet breakfast, and we do something we're planning right now is our holiday party that we'll do before winter break, which is a great opportunity to network. Yeah, so we allow the students to really practice those skills in real time. And we found that students build really great relationships with their mentors, even long after they've graduated from the Elevate program. And a lot of students comment that the most gratifying aspect of the whole program is that mentorship experience. So that's something they definitely love, and we're super thankful for the people that help support it for. The third component then is really neat. It's the business project. So as I mentioned before, relevance is really important for students. So we work with local companies to tackle projects that they wish they could get around to, but they just don't have the time. When we ask companies for projects, we say, what's the 7th most important thing that you want to get done that you're not able to, that we can work on with a team of students to help you out. So we've worked with large regional companies and even international companies, and been able to provide value for them from the students. And the application potential for the students is just tremendous. They take what they learned in those classrooms and from their mentor, and then they go apply it in their business project, and then get to sharpen their skills with their presentation skills. We've had students who have presented to the board of directors and entire companies on some of their projects. So really exciting stuff. And I think it's something that I hope is going to continue to expand into more schools throughout the country.
So let's dive into that entrepreneurship piece, because obviously most of the people watching this will be teaching entrepreneurship, or they'll at the high school level, or they'll be managing maker spaces or incubators and things like that. Talk a little bit about that, the entrepreneurship program component, and kind of maybe step us through chronologically how that works.
So with the entrepreneurship component, within Elevate, we're really trying to build student confidence and student creativity. And we're really encouraging them to, if you believe that you have an idea that you want to pursue, now is the time to really begin that, because of the resources they have available to them, because of the low risk nature they are in their life, right? Most of them are living with mom and dad and don't have too many financial commitments. So we, from the get-go, from the first weekend of Elevate, we assign them homework to look at the world in a different way, to see over Labor Day weekend, how could you do something or fix some problem out there in an entrepreneurial spirit? And then we have had students in the past that have then taken what they've thought of that, run it by their mentor, get their opinions, run it past the consultants we work with, or even their business projects that they work with, utilize our instructors and build out from there. And so far, we've had at least 3 student organizations that have sprouted out of Elevate, entrepreneurial organizations. And I know of at least 2 right now that the students are still continuing to do into their junior and senior years of college. So pretty exciting stuff.
So what sort of skills do you find that the students, especially on the entrepreneurship side, what sort of skills do they develop in the context of Elevate, that skills that you don't see with students, let's say, that haven't been through the Elevate program, but more specifically on the entrepreneurship side?
The biggest thing that I notice is their confidence, and how much their confidence grows from the start of the school year to the end of the school year, where we can go to a business after 5 with our local chamber of commerce, and they can represent themselves very professionally, very much on level with anybody else. For example, one of our mentors in the program is a CEO of a $1 billion+ revenue company that regularly meets with his mentee. I mean, the confidence that student's able to build from him is just fantastic.
Right.
And I think to be a successful entrepreneur, you need confidence, because you're going to have a lot of shaky times throughout your endeavors. And if you're not confident enough, you might then take an easier way out and go take a salary job or something like that. So that's big for me. But of course, on top of that, there's things like, creativity with your ideas and becoming really, really hardworking, building a network and building a brand and understanding the importance of those things. Those are all concepts that students are really getting at a much higher level than they would get if they were just in the classroom. When a VP of a company is really teaching you about why the brand is so important and why one strategy you recommend might have this effect versus another, they take a lot out of that experience that you just can't emulate inside of the classroom.
I think you might be being you tend to be, again, a little modest, but your background, in addition to MBA from WashU, which is obviously impressive by itself, but being a wealth manager yourself, having your own company on the side. I mean, one of the things that students have told me over my years of teaching is there's no substitute for bringing that real world into the classroom. And any teacher, even if it's just you teaching entrepreneurship or you're one business teacher, I think, having resources like outside mentors, local business people, videos like this, and bringing all of those experiences to create almost a kaleidoscope of knowledge and information is really powerful. And not just for the sake of engagement, but really helping develop the students. So one of the last things I'd like to wrap our own questions for you is I'd like to talk a little bit about the notion of students thinking about others and thinking about the world, and whether you see that to be more of a trend v just business and making profit. Like, what have you noticed over the last few years?
This generation definitely wants to be able to make a difference, and they want to make a difference really, really fast. They don't want to take 20 or 30 years to be able to do that. They're exposed to so much information and so many different people from so many different areas that they really think, I think, at a higher level than we have in the past because of technology, with where can I make my mark on the world and how can I make the world a better place? And I know that a lot of them are really passionate about that. So when they think about their entrepreneurial endeavors, if their idea itself can't directly maybe do it as much as they would like, the things that they frequently have talked with me about in conversations is, well, if my business is successful, I can, give some of my profits to charity, or reinvest and try this different venture that maybe has more of an impact, or plant more trees with respect to the profits that I have and things of that nature. So the data is really clear on it too. If you look up some people out there, and Simon Sinek's a great guy to listen to this stuff, that they all want to make a positive difference. They struggle with figuring out how exactly they're going to do that, which is why entrepreneurship is such a terrific opportunity, because it's literally available to anybody to potentially do. So, yeah,
I think, and that's one of the reasons that, we're actually going to be rolling out Planet Pitch is, again, this concept of people, planet, profits. And we're talking to companies, very large companies that are actually going to be sponsoring competition. And one of the things that really impresses them is, specifically with Gen Z and millennials as well, is this notion that they do put other people's needs. They're in consideration of careers and companies that they're going to work for. And so when you combine that with entrepreneurship and the fact that you put a lot more control in their destiny, and instead of starting with, hey, I'm having my own business to make a lot of money, instead, if you start with, hey, I want to help people, which we know is the foundation for any new business, but I want to not just help my customers, but I want to help people in sub-Saharan Africa. Or we have a program here at UW-Whitewater where the students are working to address blindness in rural India. I mean, that's pretty powerful stuff. And they get knowledge from programs like yours and Elevate. And there's obviously all sorts of resources to quickly build websites and pitch competitions like Planet Pitch and things like that. It's really driving this movement towards a social enterprise. And we're really excited to, some of your students are going to be applying for the competition as well. For the rest of you out there that haven't brought this into your curriculum for next semester, next term, we do actually have free videos at planetpitch.co. So I'd encourage you to check that out. And I'm sure you'll see some of Brandon's students at some point in the future as well. We'll be interviewing them. And thank everybody for their time today. We do have a couple of questions here. So Chris has a question from Elkhorn. In fact, Chris. So Chris's question is, how would a school district roll out a program like Elevate if they don't have much in the way of resources? Let's say there's one teacher. What's kind of a baby step way that they could get there?
It's a great question, and I know one that a lot of school districts have. I think the first thing that I would tackle is getting your teachers involved with the community more. One thing I know a lot of teachers struggle with, for a lot of different really valid reasons. They have so much on their plate and stuff is so busy within the building itself, but they struggle with reaching out to the community. And everything that we have found along every step of the way is the community can be extremely helpful and beneficial, whether that's trying to find you an site location for Elevate to happen, which is what happened in our community, which is fantastic, to, the director of your chamber of commerce saying, oh no, I can find you mentors or business projects or people to come in and speak to your class. So if you can't immediately set up something that has all those elements, you can at least start to get connected and bring those elements into your classroom. And then I think what you find out is that gets things going, and things then proceed pretty rapidly from there to continue to expand the program.
Okay. All right, great. Well, we are at time. We try to wrap up around 15 minutes. We're a little bit over. Brandon, I really want to thank you for your time today. Really insightful stuff. For those of you that are looking to engage your students in entrepreneurship even more and provide them an amazing opportunity to win scholarships, college scholarships, if they're going on, or money can be used for their socially focused startup, check us out at planetpitch.co. And again, thanks for your time, everybody. And Brandon, I really want to thank you for your time. I know that you're busy and getting to the end of the semester, so you've got the end of the semester chaos just like I do with reports and exams and all sorts of things. So everybody's stress level is a little bit high. So I appreciate you taking time out of your day to join us.
My pleasure. Thanks so much, Dave.
All right. Thanks.